Hey everyone, this is Ritik Shukla and welcome to the Data Nomad. So this video is about a portfolio project that I did during my Google Data Analytics certification, and today we are deep diving into the world of cycling in California, using real data to explore how membership and casual riders navigate the state. So the main question is, have you ever wondered if there's a difference between how people who pay for cycling memberships and those who ride casually choose their routes? Throughout this video, we will be analyzing data on cycling trips across California, uncovering fascinating insights about preferred cycling locations and distances between membership and casual riders. We will also discover some hidden cycling heavens favored by either membership or casual riders. So buckle up cycling enthusiasts, data geeks, and anyone curious about how California gets their wheels rolling. Throughout this presentation, we will be using compelling visuals and clear explanations to bring data to life. Let's get started and unveil the cycling landscape of California. We will begin by outlining the main goals of our analysis and what we aim to achieve. Next, we will dive into the dataset itself, discussing its structure, what was included in it, and what was not. We will then analyze the data to pinpoint the peak times for bike usage throughout the day. Moving on, we will identify which day of the week sees the highest bike sharing activity. We will look at the duration of trips to understand patterns and variations. In the top 10 most common routes, we will highlight the most popular routes taken by the users. Then, in the key takeaways, we will summarize the critical insights we have gathered from the data. In the recommendation section, finally, based on our findings, we will offer actionable recommendations to optimize the bike sharing program. By the end of this presentation, I hope you will have a comprehensive understanding of our analysis and the insights we have derived from the data. Let's get started. The primary goal of this analysis was to identify the key differences between the behaviors and patterns of casual riders and membership riders. Understanding these differences is crucial for us to design effective marketing strategies. Specifically, we aim to provide actionable recommendations that will help increase the conversion rate of casual riders to membership riders. First step in this analysis will be to understand the data set. So the dataset that we are going to use is the official data record of the company, that is Cyclistic Private Limited, and this contains the data from May 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. Now, due to privacy reasons, personal details, including the address of the rider, the credit card numbers, have been deleted from the dataset. Other than that, the dataset includes details like ride ID, starting timestamp, ending timestamp, start station name and ID, end station name and ID, starting latitude and longitudes, ending latitudes and longitudes, and whether the rider was a membership rider or a casual rider. Now, after understanding our dataset, our first step in analysis was to identify rush hours for casual and membership rides on weekends and weekdays. So let's try to understand these plots first. We are taking x-axis as the hour of the day. Y-axis shows the average number of trips made. The darker line represents average number of casual trips made every hour, and the lighter line represents the average number of membership trips made every hour. Here we can notice two huge spikes on weekdays for membership rides, first one around 8 am and second one around 5 pm. Casual rides also show a slight increment around 5 pm, making 5 pm as the busiest hour of the day. This may suggest that people use cycles for office commute. Whereas on a weekend, 1 to 4 pm are the busiest hours. But if we take a closer look in the night hours, that is from 0 to 3 and after 23, we can see that on the weekends, people are taking night trips as well. Now, after identifying rush hours, our next step was to understand if people like to ride more on a particular day or not. Now this here is a bar graph displaying what percentage of total trips were being made each day of week. Now it should be noted here that 1% almost equals 4,600 trips. So according to the graph, Saturday records almost 14 to 15,000 more trips than a normal weekday. Whereas on a Sunday the trip count goes down by 4,000. It may suggest that people like to travel more on Saturday and then take a rest on Sunday. Now the next step was to identify patterns in the average trip duration on weekdays and weekends among riders. So let's try to understand the plot. The plot here is known as a box plot. It shows five key points of a dataset. First three being 25th percentile, median, and 75th percentile. The nth percentile means that n% of data is equal to or less than that data point. So the 25th percentile means almost 25% of trips are below this point here, that is around 5 minutes for membership rides and 7.5 minutes for casual rides. 50th percentile or median means that half of the data is below and half of the data is above the line, which is almost 9 minutes for membership and 13 minutes for casual rides. Similarly, 75th percentile is almost 15 minutes for membership rides and 24 minutes for casual rides. Now the difference between 75th and 25th percentile is known as interquartile range, which we use to calculate upper and lower fences. It comes out to be almost 30 minutes for membership and almost 50 minutes for casual rides. Anything above these fences should be considered outliers. So these points here, so we can see that there are too many outliers to study the average trip duration. Therefore, our next step was to study median trip durations instead of average as it is immune to such outliers. Now here these plots are trying to display the median trip duration of cycle trips made every hour by membership riders and casual riders on weekends and weekdays separately. Now here again we are taking the hours of the day on the x-axis and y-axis represents the median trip duration. The dark line represents the data for casual trips and the lighter line represents the data for membership trips. Now if we try to compare the data between membership and casual rides, we can see that the median trip duration for membership rides always between 7.5 minutes to 10 minutes, whereas for the casual rides, the trip duration goes around 14 to 15 minutes in the day hours, whereas if it is a weekends, it can go even further to around 18 minutes. So the next step in our analysis was to identify the top 10 most common routes among the casual as well as the membership riders. So let's try to understand the graphs first. We have the route name on the y-axis and the number of times the route appeared on a dataset of 460,000 entries on the x-axis, and the temperature scale represents the trip duration it takes to complete the route on the cycle. So if we take a closer look at the membership riders, we can find some interesting facts here. One of them is that the top 10 routes are actually only 5 routes covered in both directions. Secondly, the most popular route in the membership category is only nearly half as popular as that in the casual routes, as it appeared only 5,000 times, whereas the most popular route in the casuals category appeared nearly 9,000 times. Something more interesting in the membership routes is that none of the top 10 membership routes crosses the 10-minute mark, whereas 7 out of 10 casual routes cross 30 minutes mark, with the longest route taking almost 48 minutes to cover. Now, before we conclude, I would like to highlight the key takeaways from our analysis. These points encapsulate the most significant findings and insights that will inform our next steps and strategic decisions. By focusing on these key takeaways, we can ensure that our efforts are aligned with the data and targeted towards achieving our objective. So the first key takeaway is that we observe a significant increase in rides among membership riders during the opening and closing hours of the office. This pattern suggests that many membership riders use the bike sharing service like Cyclistics for their daily commute to and from work. And next is that on weekend we see a shift in riding patterns. People prefer to travel around the city, indicating leisure and recreational usage rather than commuting. And the last key takeaway is that casual riders often take rides to explore park and tourist spots around the city, reflecting a more sporadic and exploratory usage. In contrast to membership riders, consistently use the service to travel between two specific stations, likely commuting from home to office and vice versa. Now, after the key takeaways, we will move on to our recommendation section. So, based on these findings and key takeaways, I have designed some recommendations that might be beneficial to the companies like Cyclistic Private Limited. So, the first recommendation is that introducing commuter friendly membership plans, in which we can offer discounted or flexible membership plans tailored for commuters. Highlight the cost saving and convenience of a membership compared to casual rides for daily commuting. The next is weekend specials and promotions, in which we can create special promotions or incentives for casual riders during weekends to encourage more frequent use. For example, offer a weekend explorer membership that provides benefits for weekend users with the option to upgrade to a full membership. After that, we can launch targeted marketing campaigns. For example, we can use targeted marketing campaigns that addresses the specific needs and behavior of casual riders, showcase testimonials and success stories from current members who have transitioned from casual riders, emphasizing the benefits they have experienced. And after that, we can work on enhancing the user experience. For example, we can improve the overall user experience by providing route recommendations, tourist guides, and exclusive member events. Making the experience more engaging can encourage casual riders to see the value in becoming members. Thank you for your time and attention. I appreciate your interest and engagement in today's presentation. If you have any questions, suggestions, or if you'd like to work with me on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr, feel free to reach out. Once again, thank you.